The Yankees, with really the injuries that they've been dealing with, the boneheaded calls when it comes to the bullpen, as we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in the show. The pitching staff, and going back to Max Fried, he actually showed up this week. His blisters on his fingers didn't really affect his pitching. He was probably the best pitcher for the Yankees throughout the weekend games, losing 1-0 against the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox really couldn't hit him, but they had to pull him in the 7th inning. The Yankees have not had consistency, and they're not getting consistency at the plate. Anthony Volpe has been an abysmal. He's been absolutely putrid on the baseball field. And again, going back to comparing and contrasting his talents as a defensive player, this guy was a Gold Glove winner. And now all of a sudden, he's one of the worst defensive players in baseball. He's one of the worst defensive players at the shortstop position we've ever seen a Yankee play. Just think about it. This guy went from a Gold Glove winner to one of the worst shortstops in all of baseball, making the mistakes that he's made. And a guy that has had a pretty good bat. We were talking about his talents as far as at the plate and the power that he has at the plate. The man has not really hit enough home runs since he's come into the league. He's not hitting for average. He's one of the worst hitters in baseball right now. You can argue he's one of the worst players in baseball. But the Yankees have decided to keep him up as long as they've had, because they have no really depth at the shortstop position. And they keep bringing these guys up to move around on the field, infield, to try to figure out who will fit where and how many times are they going to play Anthony Volpe every single week. But the Yankees have really put a lot of pressure on this young kid. He's still a little wet behind the ears. Obviously, he's not figuring it out. We've seen this many, many times with ex-Yankee players, young Yankee players. We've mentioned a ton of them in the past. Some people can't cut it in New York. Anthony Volpe could be traded next year. The Yankees aren't going to get much for him, but maybe he gets traded to Seattle, or maybe he gets traded to the Angels or somewhere else, Texas, and he goes to another roster and maybe he figures it out. But the Yankees trusted that this kid was the future face of this organization when Aaron Judge decides to lace up the cleats. The Yankees right now, they don't have enough depth. Now, Giancarlo Stanton's hot. They're getting enough from Bellinger, but this lineup has not been as good and as potent as we thought the Yankees lineup was going to be this year. And you question Aaron Boone. Is Aaron Boone the right guy for the job? We all know Jorge Posada has put his name in the mix. He wants to be the next manager for the New York Yankees. Nevertheless, we still have to finish the season. The Yankees still have a chance to make the playoffs and make a run. Do I think the Yankees have any chance of winning a World Series right now with the roster the way it's put together right now? No. This roster is not good enough. And the Red Sox have been one of the hotter teams in the second half of the season. And again, when you look at the division and the American League East, and the American League East is still one of the better divisions in all of baseball, with the Blue Jays and the Red Sox sitting up there on top and the Yankees are squeaking into the playoffs, that doesn't sell me anything on where this roster and where this team's going to be in the next couple of years. They have no depth in their farm system. Going back to Brian Cashman, who's come out and said a lot of interesting things over the last couple of weeks, trying to figure out where this team is and what this team is going to be in the future. The fact is right now, this team is an aging team. They have some youth and young players right now that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we see Spencer Jones before the season's end. Maybe not. We will see him next year. Dominguez is up and down. Volpe is just absolutely terrible. They don't have anything. Now, the kid that they have on the mound right now, Schlittler, he looks like he's a pretty good pitcher. He looks like he almost, was it him that almost pitched a perfect game the other day? If the Yankees could figure out their pitching staff and figure out some of the youth that they have in their farm system and find a guy in their farm system. Now, Warren hasn't really been the guy. I thought Warren was going to figure it out this year. He's been up and down. He was terrible this weekend against the Red Sox. The Yankees, the problem over the years, who was the last pitcher the Yankees had from their farm system that really developed? Luis Severino? And the other one after that is Andy Pettitte. A lot of these young pitchers become bullpen specialists, like Jonathan 𝐬𝐲𝐫𝐞. When Jonathan 𝐬𝐲𝐫𝐞 came into the league, he was not a relief pitcher. They were expecting him to be a starter. 𝐃𝐨𝐵, he's right now on our show. Jabba's one of the lead guys on the show. Jabba was back and forth. The Yankees were trying to figure out, is he a bullpen specialist? Is he the future closer after Mo leaves? Or is he a starter for this team? This has been going on with the New York Yankees forever. And the Yankees, at one point, had Phil Hughes, had 𝐃𝐵, had those kind of guys, had those kind of arms in their farm system, and did nothing with them. You look at this Yankee roster, what scares you? What scares you as a Yankee, as a Yankee hater out there? People that can't stand the New York Yankees, that want to see the Yankees fall down flat on their face. Jazz Chisholm? He don't scare me. There is nobody on this roster right now besides Giancarlo Stanton and Bellinger that scares me. Aaron Judge, since he's come back, is batting .207. .207. He went from a .350 hitter to a .320 hitter in what? 3.5 weeks. He's not hitting. I think he has 3 home runs and 7 RBIs since he's coming back, since he's come back. The Yankees right now have nothing to look forward to for next year either. Now, if Gerrit Cole comes back, but we all know he's coming back from Tommy John, Gerrit Cole's not going to be back in the beginning of the season. He probably won't be back until the end of July. And then you have Max Fried. You have practically the same rotation. Heel is coming back, maybe a second year back from his injury. He'll be better next year. There's nothing to look forward to with the New York Yankees, except maybe a new manager or maybe a new GM, depending on where the Yankees go in the offseason. Is Hal going to part ways finally with Brian Cashman? When he was handed Brian Cashman, when he took over the team, when George decided to step away. The problem with the New York Yankees, and I'll go back to the past to the present, the Yankees organization for years thought that they can build around a roster of young talent that they brought up from their team and their farm system. Who was the 2 guys that the Yankees wanted to build around over the last 10 years? Luis Severino, he's gone. Now, is he with the Oakland Athletics now?
And doing terrible.
Yeah, so he was a guy that...
And he signed one of the biggest deal in A's as a starter.
Yep, with the A's. And he was a guy that the Yankees wanted to build their pitching staff with. He's no longer with the team. Aaron Judge, he's right there. Jason Dominguez. Yankee fans want to trade him. Anthony Volpe, another guy. The Yankees over the years, if you look at decade after decade after decade, in a 10-year to 12-year decade, they had 4 to 5 players they would build their roster with, and then they would bring in veteran players, big-priced players, like Jason Giambi, remember him? We could go on and on and on over the years. 𝐶𝐶 Sabathia, Mark Teixeira, A.J. Burnett, Alex Rodriguez. That's what the Yankees do. That is the Yankee way. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you look at the past championship teams over the last couple of years, it's all about building your farm system, bringing up youth. Look at the Red Sox over the weekend against the Yankees. Look at the young talent the Red Sox have. And now they're signing these young talented players. They're doing exactly what the Atlanta Braves have been doing over the last couple of years. They draft these players, they call them up. Eventually they know they're stars, and they give them long-term deals. They give them a 10-year, $100 million contract. Well, that's what the Red Sox are doing right now. And that's what a lot of these young, talented teams are doing right now, because they want to make sure that they keep their youth around for the first 10 years of their career. Then they'll see what their 30s are going to lie, or where it lies. As we see Aaron Judge in his 30s, he's still at the top of his game. But usually players, when they hit their 30 mark, between 30 and 34, they're not the same players they were in their early and mid-20s. That's why Juan Soto, it was so important for Juan Soto to become a free agent in his mid-20s. He became a free agent at 26, 27 years old. Most players don't become free agents at those ages. Do you know why he became a free agent at that age? Because he came into the league at a very young age. Juan Soto came into the league almost at 18 years old. He was between 19 and 20 when he won his first World Series and won the World Series MVP. Within that time, he played for 3 franchises: the Nationals, the Padres, and the Yankees. And now Ladies and gentlemen, he's playing for the New York Mets for the rest of his career. You look at Anthony Volpe that worked his way up to the majors, and we watched this kid develop in his rookie season where he wins a Gold Glove, and everybody says, this guy's the future. When Aaron Judge decides to part ways, this guy could be the future captain of the New York Yankees. Now we're talking about Anthony Volpe not making a team next year.